of an important institution, the African Union High-Level Panel on Illicit Financial Flows. There are numbers, sometimes we hear that about $80 billion is lost from African countries every year due to these illicit flows. But to you, how do you define illicit financial outflow?
Many ordinary Africans understand that there are lots of African resources that are flowing out of the continent illegally, which ought to be retained on the continent. And so the decision of the African heads of state and government was that then we need to take action to stop that illegal outflow of resources from the continent, wherever they originate from. And some of those illicit outflows come from, for instance, from mining, they come from fishing, they come from industry, they come as a result of corruption, they come as a result of illegal trafficking in human beings, drug trafficking, and so on. So there are many different ways in which the African continent loses those resources. What that means is that whereas the African continent wants to invest in schools, in roads, in clinics, in encouraging economic development, in rural development, development of agriculture and all that, we are not able to do as much as we need to do with regard to all of those areas because of resources that are lost, monies that are lost because somebody takes these monies illegally out of the continent to go somewhere else. That's just the illicit outflows. So I'm saying that for ordinary Africans understand that. And in our report we say something like two-thirds of these resources that are taken out of the continent illegally, it's done by commercial companies. So that's where two-thirds of the problem is with commercial companies. The next biggest problem with regard to this matter about illicit outflows is really criminality like human trafficking, drug trafficking, this sort of thing. That's the next biggest. And of course also very important in this regard is, well, the corrupt export, even by citizens of our own countries. So, but the corruption thing relates not only to a corrupt person taking money out, but also corrupt people assisting, like the private companies, to take money out. So the corruption thing is widespread, but it's also, it includes the actual physical movement of these resources out of Africa. So it's those three. We identify those three. That's corporation, commercial sector being the biggest, as two-thirds, crime of the kind I've described, and then this corrupt export by individuals. Then these resources move from Africa to somewhere. So as a result of that, we've had to engage the rest of the world. Been to the United Nations, for instance. We've been to the European Parliament and Commission. We've been to the OECD in Paris. We've spoken to the European Central Bank in Frankfurt. These are the international bodies. We've spoken to the World Customs Union organization to say to all of them, these resources that we are losing from the continent, they go to your countries, and therefore we need to cooperate to deal with this matter. We had wanted to meet the individual ministers and government institutions that are dealing with this matter. For instance, the people at Customs, the Minister of Finance, the judiciary which deals with this, people who are dealing with issues of corruption, people who are dealing with taxation, people who are dealing with financial intelligence. So the president has agreed with that he would then give instructions to each one of these institutions and ministers to prepare reports for us on each one of these issues. What is the Minister of Finance doing? What is Customs doing? What are the taxation people doing? What are the people fighting corruption, what are they doing? All of those. So that you have a more comprehensive picture of how Tanzania is responding to the decisions taken at the heads of state and the government level to implement certain things to fight this issue of the illicit financial flows.
Have created a system that allows people to